I asked these four wonderful people to share their passion and to talk about how their passion intersects with their purpose. And really, that's the point of Headwaters, and that's the point of the work that we support. And we wanted just an opportunity to showcase and to show you and give you an opportunity to engage in some of the learnings and thinkings that they're thinking and learning about. Because I think that's really how, that really is on what
I think it's really interesting, both why people came here and what you want to understand. So if there's 3 or 4 things that you could touch on in just a few minutes, and then we'll have a chance to have a little smaller, deeper discussions, kind of with ourselves. So a little bit about the work that you do and the organizing that you do, because you guys have been working for a number of years in particular, either campaigns or efforts. So in racial justice, economic justice, environmental justice, or the intersections of all that. What are some things that you're seeing, some trends that help you to think of that, of something that's really kind of optimistic, or solutions that you've been seeing? Because I know that one of the premises of this, really, of some of the work that we've been talking about, and Larry alluded to it, was that we're in a movement moment. And this is actually a really important time for us to reflect, think, and learn and share with one another. So I think that's another important highlight to talk about, are some things that are getting you excited. And then the last thing really is, what are some challenges or some things that you're concerned about that you want to get a larger group to be thinking about? Because then what we'll do after you present for a few minutes, we'll have a chance in smaller groups to talk amongst ourselves about things that we're seeing in those same lines. And I know that Stephen also has some activities and stuff, which is cool. I want you to do your activity, because I think that's going to be really cool. So anyway, well, we'll do both. So I didn't know who wanted to go first, or if you wanted to put me on the spot and make me go first. I don't care, but you guys can do what you want.
So we're talking about not just, I think oftentimes when we talk about changes to media, we think about representation. We think about changes to how we're being represented through media channels, and oftentimes through traditional media channels like TV, radio, et cetera, et cetera. But we also realize that we have to also think about the structural piece to media. So for us, what are the policies that make up this larger infrastructure that we interact with every day? So we do a lot of work related to media policy, and it's in particular for us, the thing that I've gotten most excited about recently is our media justice movement has really been emerging and has been very intentional to insert ourselves around a policy focus. But we bring a very different approach to that work. I think in traditional policy making, it's often tied to what the policy change, the passing the bill, et cetera, that's ultimately what we're building up towards. In our media justice sector, we do bring, a lot of our organizations utilize a popular education approach, which is really about breaking down those traditional sort of standards for learners and who actually holds the knowledge in a particular community, and elevating new voices to represent exactly what they want to see their media system become. And so a lot of the strategies that we employ around policy making is just really finding ways for people to plug in and talk about their experiences. The second piece is also identifying how media relates to some of these other issues that are very tangible and very material to people. I was asked to come here today and talk about racial disparities, and I have some statistics in the back that I'll share later on, just about what the state of Minnesota looks like in relation to racial disparities. One of the important connections that we try to make is that we can't talk about bridging the achievement gap if we're not also talking about bridging the digital divide. And so for us, in our media policy work, is making those connections, not just from our sector, but also connecting to other sectors out there in other fights. Some of the challenges that I see coming up is I think there's very real challenges with really understanding the importance or how central media is to the work that we do. I think for a lot of our organizations, as you probably can already relate to this, there's this growing pressure to be present either online or to have a Facebook page or to have a Twitter page or to do all these different things. But there's really no intentionality behind it. So I think there needs to be some discussion about how do we really allow our communications infrastructures to really build upon the work that we're doing and really reach the audiences that we're trying to reach to. So I'll leave it right there because I had some other stuff prepared that we'll end up doing. But